I think journaling is the cheapest therapy there is, and without it, I wouldn't be where I am right now. So I've been consistently journaling for 15 years now, and it's just been completely life-changing for me. And at times when I couldn't afford therapy, journaling did it for me. So that's why I'm making this video, to share 10 different journaling techniques and how you can use journaling as a way to up-level your life, feel better, and understand yourself better, and just, enjoy your life more. So I know it can be daunting to start when you open a blank page and you have no idea what to write, and it just starts sounding so lame. And that's why you can use any of those 10 ideas and just pick and choose how you feel that morning or the evening or whenever you choose to journal, and just commit to test it out for yourself, to journal for 14 days or for a month and see how your perception of yourself, of the world changes, how you react differently to situations, and so on. So let's get to the 10 journaling ways. So first one is stream of consciousness writing. So you basically set a timer for 5, 10, 15, or 20 minutes and write continuously without stopping. And you can do that by setting a theme. For example, writing continuously about all the things that worry you, or all the things that you want to improve in your life, or whatever is relevant for you. That also works very good for uncovering your hidden beliefs around a certain topic. For example, love, relationships, money, health, and just continuously write and see what comes up without any judgment. And only after the timer goes off, you can reread, or sometimes you don't even have to, you can just throw it away, and it just can serve as a way to unburden all of your worries. And when I use this technique, it really shows me the deeper layers of my situation. If I worry about moving to a new country and then I journal about all of that, it kind of unburdens all the things that I'm carrying in my mind, holding in the back of my mind, not even realizing that I'm holding it. Putting it onto paper makes you also realize sometimes that it's not that bad, or sometimes that to realize the significance of the situation, and kind of validates why you're feeling this way, because it is freaking a lot. The second way is gratitude journaling. And I love doing from time to time a challenge for gratitude journaling with my friends or just with myself. Whenever I notice that I've gotten into a habit of noticing all that's not working, all that's bad, and it just brings me that sense of that general goodness, that everything is okay. I have enough. I have where to live. I have my partner. I have friends. I have a certain amount of health. And by focusing my attention to what I am grateful for in my life, I gain more capacity to deal with the difficulties in my life as well. And once you get into the habit of doing the gratitude journaling, I like to combine it with other forms of journaling. For example, at the end of my morning journaling or evening journaling, it can really just enhance your satisfaction of your life without actually changing anything. But as you continue progressing and committing to gratitude journaling, you will start to see that your life started to shift. And for me, actually, that's when I first realized that journaling can be so powerful. When I started doing gratitude journaling every morning, and my outside world started to shift, and I was like, oh my God, this is magic. So try it out for yourself. The third way of journaling is reflective journaling. That's what I mostly used to do when I started journaling like 15 years ago, just to dissect situations, how I was feeling, why I reacted this way, this very insight and reflection driven mode of journaling to gain more insight about yourself when you're starting to get to know yourself better. I think this is very important, but also can serve at any stage of your personal development, because there's always more insight you can get from situations by reflecting on why that situation triggered you so much, what was behind it, and just asking yourself those questions can really make you understand yourself and others much better. Right now, how I use reflective journaling is mostly when I am either doing some inner work by myself or I'm preparing for a session with my therapist to see what at the moment is impacting my life the most and what do I want to look into deeper. And the fourth way is bullet journaling, something that you can use more for task management, to get offload off your head, not to keep all the to-do list in your head, but to bring it out on paper. I mostly nowadays do bullet journaling online in Notion, so I would have it in my laptop before I start working. I always open up my Notion page that's directed for all my tasks, all my management, basically my digital brain, so I wouldn't have to keep everything, because that is consuming your mental energy. So don't hold that, put it out somewhere, not only for organization, but also for that ease of mind. So right now, how I use bullet journaling is I mostly do the 12-week year bullet journaling in my Notion. I created my own template to basically, the whole idea of the 12-week year is that you don't make goals for the whole year, the 12 months, but you just make goals for 12 weeks. You set specific areas and what do you want to accomplish in those areas. You break it down into smaller actionable steps that you need to take every day or weekly. And for me, that really helps me stay on top of those goals and not to lose track, because there's always so much to do. So I have my tasks for the week and I have a check boxes for each day, whether I did it or not. And then at the end of the week, I do reflection of how was this week? Did I set the right amount of tasks out? Did I overburden myself with too many things to do? And just seeing how I can move forward. And then I do every day daily check-ins to see how I did that day with the tasks. So I do like kind of before work, checking in, what's the main task of the day. And when I don't do that, I really notice that I get overwhelmed, because the list of things to do is never ending. And when I have that one highlight of the day, okay, this is my priority, and then my work becomes much more focused and I strangely accomplish much more than that one thing. Versus if I don't set that one thing, I just end up doing all the small tasks like communication with my clients, replying to messages, posting stories and stuff. And then I end up not doing those big things that really matter and can really move me forward. It's like that analogy with a glass, and then you have rocks, you have sand to fit into that jar. And you first put in the big rocks and then you pour the sand in. Because if you first pour the sand in, the big rocks wouldn't fit. You get the point. So yeah, I love that type of journaling. The fifth way of journaling is prompt-based journaling. That's something that I also do on a regular basis. And how I do it now is that I just wrote my own questions that I find very useful. And every morning I just pick one of those questions and ask myself and just write the answer. So I will put all of the prompts that I find most useful and what I use on a regular basis in a PDF so you could download and use them too. I find them very useful on the days when I wake up and I'm not sure what I want to focus on, and I just read through my prompts, and one of them usually always resonates, and I know that this is the one that I should be journaling today. And it's usually brings me insights that otherwise I wouldn't have gained access to. So the sixth way of journaling is mindfulness journaling. And it's kind of like a substitute to meditation, because I find that For me, it's easier to actually journal about my current experience than to just meditate sometimes. On some mornings, I feel that meditation is more appropriate for me, but sometimes mindfulness journaling is more helpful for me to actually come back to my body and gain insight of what's happening. So I journal about my sensory experience. I'm just writing, right now I'm feeling maybe some tension in my legs, my breath is shallow, noticing all the other experience that is happening in my body. Maybe my body needs some movement, I feel some tension. Then what's happening in my thoughts, what stories I'm telling myself, what things I'm sensing. So it's basically training your mindfulness skills to see what's happening right here, right now. And you can couple that with meditation practice or movement practice. I like to do a bit of journaling, how I'm feeling right now, and then respond to my body's needs. Either do a breath work, movement, and focus on the sensations or some stories that I'm telling myself to release them through the movement and through the breath. So the 7th way is emotional release journaling. And that is very useful when I'm feeling certain emotions overflowing me, like self-judgment, doubt, pain, sadness, and then my normal tendency is to used to be to suppress it and regulate myself into my good state, but then that's not healthy for me because that suppressed emotion finds its way to express through the body. So what I learned to do is when I'm feeling that emotion is to give it a voice, give it space on this paper and just write everything that it's feeling without any censorship. Because in my sane mind, in myself, I would never say that I'm hating everyone or that I want to die or something like that. But that part of me that is feeling the pain might feel that way. And I just allow it to express itself fully without any censorship because nobody is going to read that. Sometimes even I don't read that. Normally I just let it out. I don't feel the need to read it out later. It's mostly for that release, for that validation. And I find that very soon when I voice all of these thoughts or stories that part is believing, I can understand why I'm feeling this way much better, and I can offer myself the support that I need to meet those parts where they are and to understand their intentions. Well, that's kind of coming into the second way of journaling is internal family systems journaling. And since I got trained and started using it for myself and for my clients, I just find this a necessary practice to check in daily. And those who have been doing internal family systems work know that the key success in IFS lies in constant checking in with your parts, to build trust with all parts of yourself, because then you can be in the leadership. Because after an IFS therapy session, it's crucial to keep checking in with those parts that have been unburdened or been witnessed, because the more trust you have with those parts, the more self-leadership you have, the more successful you will be in integrating and holding space for all those parts and not get overrun by them. Those who are not very familiar with internal family systems, maybe I'll do a video later, but actually there are so many videos on YouTube, you can check it out. I definitely suggest you doing that because for me and for my clients, it's one of the most powerful tools out there that I've ever used on myself or on my clients to really integrate all parts and to understand the whole system, how my body works, and notice when I am overrun by those different parts and to hold them with love and compassion. And a key aspect of internal family systems is that centering. You can call it the self, the inner Buddha, God, higher self, spaciousness, however you want. It's basically training yourself to be in that state and to unblend from those parts and to see the pain that they're holding. And how I use internal family systems journaling technique is that I sit down and I just write out all the parts that I'm sensing at the moment that are present, that are a bit activated, and I ask what are their needs. So even yesterday I did this journaling, and what I got was that one part was so motivated to work and to do to finish all my projects and work on my goals. But then there was this other part that was so tired and just wanted to take a nap, to go to a massage. So then if I were not to check in, I would probably get overridden by this work part and I would just work the whole day, and a few days later or even the same day, I would get sick. That's what used to happen to me all the time, because that part that wanted rest was like, okay, you're not gonna listen to me. Clearly you're not. So you know what? I'm just gonna override you and bring you sickness so you would finally rest, because otherwise this working part of yours will never give you the peace of mind. So now that I've learned to listen to them and to give space for that part that wants rest, in the morning when I identify that this is what is active in me, I then plan my day accordingly. And I give time frame when I'm gonna be working, and I plan activities for resting. And that's been game-changing for me. But obviously, if you haven't done any internal family systems work with a therapist or by yourself, it will be much harder to notice those parts because you haven't built a relationship with them. So it requires much more depth. It's not as simple as just checking in because you don't have anyone to check in with, basically. And then another way how I use internal family systems journaling is I check in with my exiled parts that have unburdened, my inner child parts that were neglected by me or someone else, and I promise them to keep them safe and take care of them. So then I check in with them how they feel, what are their needs, and then they trust me and they don't need to override me, and I don't need any protectors to step in and disassociate me from my body, and etc., etc. So look up internal family systems. If you want to try it out, you can come to me or find any other therapists that are specialized in internal family systems therapy. Yeah, I think I could do the whole video about IFS journaling and how I use that. But let's go on. And the next journaling technique is goal setting. Is for the time when you're feeling unmotivated, you're not sure what you want to do, why you want to do it. So it's kind of bringing that vision back, that inspiration, why you're doing what you're doing, why is it important for you, what do you want to accomplish. So it's kind of like writing out your vision, your inspiration, kind of manifesting what your ideal life looks like. And that I find is very inspiring for me to embody the version that I want to be and do the things that that version of myself would be doing, having the life that I want to have. And the last form of journaling, though I could go on and on, but yeah, the 10th one is art journaling. It's when you allow yourself to be more creative, even write stories or poems, doodle, paint around it, make it pretty. It's more like the therapeutic kind of journaling to bring your attention to the details, colors, textures, and express yourself this way. And there's really no right or wrong for doing this. I normally just stick to my watercolor paintings. I don't really do any art journaling in my journal, but that's definitely an option if you're more inclined to do this kind of journaling. So that is it for this video. I hope you found it useful, and let me know what kind of journaling technique you use the most. Did I mention it in this list or was it not in this list? And yeah, just let me know your experience with journaling and why you find it useful. Again, if you want to get my prompts for journaling, you can find them in the description down below, or you can just reach out to me privately either on Instagram or Facebook. And see you next time.